Welcome to a Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be studying VELO protocol and having a look at some of their important hot topics from today's roundtable discussion with Paul Barron, and what the importance of the actual Solana and VELO partnership really means. Now do stay tuned. Nothing that I say is financial advice. This is all for educational and kind of entertainment purposes only. I hope you enjoy the content. Let's dive in. Now, looking at VELO protocol here on X, you can see that they've been tweeting about the roundtable discussion, and the video went live earlier today at around 5:11 p.m. and the roundtable discussion was hosted by Paul Barron, who is a prominent figure in the crypto space, and also featured the likes of Lily Liu, who is an on-chain economist. We'll study her a little bit more in a minute. Beam Lightnet, who is the co-founder of Lightnet and VELO Labs, and David Mazieres. I hope I'm pronouncing both Lily's and David's names right here. Forgive me if I'm not. And David is the chief scientist, and a co-founder of Stellar. So some very, very big names here, and we was anticipating this, and it was released earlier on, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. But looking a little bit more into Lily and who she is, because again, over here on her profile it is a bit brief. I wanted to have a little dive in and see who she really was. And again, some of you may already be familiar with her, but how rude, forgive me. Who Lily is she is the president of the Solana Foundation, and she's an entrepreneur and investor focused on the cryptocurrency industry. She has had a background as a CFO and operating executive in the US, China, and throughout emerging markets. Lily is the co-founder of Anagram, the president of the Solana Foundation on the founding team of Osmosis, and is an advisor to Brave. Previously, she co-founded Earn.com, which was acquired by Coinbase in 2018. She was also the CFO of the Shinako Healthcare Corporation, where she built a 500-bed private hospital in China. How lovely. Lily also worked at KKR in New York, as well as McKinsey in New York and Beijing. She received a BA in economics and international relations from Stanford and studied East Asian studies at Harvard. So what a resume. And she had some very, very important points in today's discussion. But before we get into that, some of you might not be aware, VELO actually partnered with Solana back in April of this year. And just before we get into the actual video and clip of the discussion today, where Lily highlights some very key points, I just want you to keep in mind the partnership was based around redefining digital finance for Laos and 7.7 million people. Now, Lily's going to explain very briefly. She doesn't actually touch on too much of what's actually going on in regards to the Pacific Lightnet Gold project, which is where the partnership is to create a state-of-the-art clearinghouse for digital gold transactions. So you heard that right, digital gold transaction. This was the aim, where they have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding in place for this project, where we're looking to create financial innovation through digital gold and bringing that on chain in fractionalized amounts. So I'm already giving away too much, but I'm going to let Lily do the talking here, and we're at a certain point in the video. I think I've got it at the right place. 1 second. So I've got it where it needs to be now, and this is going to be very rookie, but I'm going to turn my mic around and put it to the speaker. Now let's listen to see what she has to say.
So what we've been working with Lightnet on is for Lightnet to be using Solana and to transmit cross-border payments from one part of Asia to another part of Asia. And it shows up pretty much instantly, and that's pretty magical. But I don't think that on-chain finance stops with just payments, cross-border payments, any sort of payment. What I think it's really about is, we've got these rails, but what you also have is you have native smart contracts.
Right, so just to pause there for a second. So she discusses the rails and the developments of cross-border payments, and I think that's more so to the side where VELO is in connection with Stellar. Now that was highlighted on briefly, which is fantastic, but then she also goes on to say about native smart contracts. Now this is where I kind of wanted to stop this video here. Actually, let me play it for a few more seconds. I'll put it back in a sec.
And the ability to put pretty much any functionality that you can write a computer program about and have it execute on this platform as well. So if you could send a digital dollar from point A to point B, then you could send a token that represents any asset from point A to point B. That's pretty exciting. And then you can also put conditionality around it And now you can start to have some pretty sophisticated financial experiences entirely on chain, and anyone that has an internet connection can access that.
Yeah, for sure.
So mind-blowing. So really and truly what Lily is talking about here is the smart contract sort of ecosystem where Solana actually operates as the settlement layer for these financial transactions, which you can use you can tokenize an asset and send that asset from A to B, not just money, for instance, but any sort of asset that you can any asset you can tokenize, anything from A to B, very quickly, instantly, cheap, and through a transaction system, through a smart contract, a meticulous smart contract spit it out. Let's get to the gold, the Pacific Lightnet Gold token white paper, and dive into what I'm actually talking about here in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to go to page 3 from this white paper. You can find it on VELO's website, by the way, and it has white papers in the top right corner. This is the Pacific Lightnet Gold, where it actually specifically talks about the interoperability with several chains such as Solana, and why I think today's roundtable discussion was a highlight and push onto what's actually going on here. So having a look at Pacific Lightnet Gold and what it actually offers, Pacific Lightnet Gold offers an innovative solution to these fundamental trade-offs. It provides a digitized version of real high-quality gold, specifically bullion bank delivery gold bars stored in high secure vaults, which are accessible only by a secured and audited company. These investment-grade gold bars, typically weighing around 400 fine troy ounces each, are traditionally accessible to only large institutions. Listen to this. But by tokenizing this gold and utilizing blockchain technology, PLG is enabling everyone to own fractions of this desirable and secure gold. PLG Gold effectively addresses the core challenges of the gold market and democratizes access to gold ownership. Now, it does this by dividing units into 18, sorry, it doesn't do that by doing it, but you can divide and purchase PLG tokens and fractionalize pieces up to 18 decimal points. So any sort of small, tiny amounts of top quality gold for the first time can be purchased. And it's developed as a Nova Chain, Ethereum, Binance Smart Contract, and Solana chain based token to ensure its portability across the blockchain network's extensive ecosystem of wallets, exchanges, lenders, and other platforms. There's a lot going on, but basically what this is a gold token, the Pacific Lightnet Gold token, that VELO and Solana have an MOU on, a memorandum of understanding, in order to bring gold on chain, to digitize it and fractionalize it for ownership in small pieces. Up to 18 decimal points worth of gold in value can be owned, so tiny amounts. Now, if we go to, you might be wondering how does this work, and where does, again, Solana and VELO fit into this? And just going back and just backtracking a little bit here, where Lily actually talks about the smart contract infrastructure, if I can find it. But Lily was speaking about the smart contracts and how we do have the rails and the cross-border payments with XLM, but the smart contract ecosystem and native smart contracts, what this actually is and how this works is VELO is the clearinghouse and Solana is the settlement layer within this ecosystem. So VELO have the technology and have implemented a cutting-edge technological infrastructure that ensures transparency, security, and efficiency, leveraging the robust capabilities of blockchains like Nova, Solana, Ethereum, and Binance. They've established a versatile ecosystem capable of meeting diverse user needs. This is the important part. The system relies on meticulously crafted smart contract architecture, establishing a standardized framework for representing gold-backed assets and enabling seamless exchange and interoperability between Nova, Solana, ETH, and BSC. So we have the smart contract ecosystem here, or the diagram that explains, how this ecosystem works. And the gold token is first minted on VELO protocol as the clearinghouse. You have the specific blockchain that is sent through as the gold token towards the customer who purchases and adds the transaction through the exchange, which then goes through back to the Pacific Bullion Bank, so on and so forth. And that's how it all operates. And you've got Warp here, which is the cross-chain bridge that enables the interoperability between us and the likes of Solana, which can act as the settlement layer for these fast, secure transactions, and VELO as the clearinghouse for these tokens between the Pacific Bullion import/export. Now, how is this Pacific Bullion import/export achieved? Well, this goes to the Lao Bullion Bank, which is where this all is taking place. So this is where you can actually purchase fractionalized pieces of gold, look at the bullion market, have a little bit of look about them, what their services are, what they offer. And just a lot more about them in general. Now, these are some of their products, and this is where it's all going down. So deposit services, loan services, storage, delivery services, trading services, metal purity analysis. This one really spiked my interest. Automated vending machines. So you can have vending machines online where you can purchase fractionalized pieces of gold, and this is the place that you can buy it from, where this system operates on VELO technology with Solana as the settlement layer through the smart contract ecosystem that Lily was discussing in the video earlier. Hello. Do you understand where I'm coming from? The dots here are absolutely fantastic, and I do believe from previous articles, I'm not 100% sure, but this is officially soft launched. I think the full launch was in November. We'd have to clarify that, and I'll look into it, but I do think we're actually fully launched with this now, and I think this is why we're seeing the likes of the Solana partnership come into the spotlight, and the discussion with the interview today, which, by the way, has great exposure for VELO. 945,000 subscribers Paul has on his network here. It's already 8,000 views, and the buzz around here already in the comments about VELO is really good. A lot of the comments are really, really positive. So it's great news to see that we're getting the exposure here, to see the insights and the connections between VELO Labs and Lily here in this brief sort of clip that I've shown you, and then looking at the gold token white paper, which connects the whole smart contract ecosystem together. Let's not even forget, I'm pretty sure that some of the use cases here, the PLG tokens, so these tokens, right, can act as a backing asset for stable coins like USDV. So it even adds collateralization to VELO's stablecoin, which is already over collateralized by treasury T-bills, by dollars, by USD VELO itself, and this just adds another sort of use case to USDV as a backing asset, and adds more security for USDV, which is fantastic. I think it's really good. So there's extensive use cases that this really comes out to and provides for the ecosystem. And they can be backed by gold futures and physical gold, providing a bridge between traditional commodities trading and the digital asset space. These tokens can be traded on brokers' platforms in the region, offering investors exposure to gold-backed assets with the convenience of digital tokens. I think it's just an absolutely fantastic project, and it's just brilliant to see the discussion today, the exposure that it's getting, the importance of these individuals, and the way that this ecosystem works. And I just wanted to highlight that today, and it's all topped off with the Bullion Bank, which is bringing this product to life and actually on the market. And again, we are the underlying system that kind of operates throughout this process. So it's an absolutely fantastic part of VELO's ecosystem. Not to say that we have a lot more going on. Again, the likes of Orbit, we haven't heard too much on. I'm not going to touch base on that. And for me personally, as a holder myself, again, nothing that I say is financial advice. I'm not overly disappointed or not to see it come now or not. There's other things that are in progress. There's fantastic partnerships and collaborations. We're in the spotlight now again with Solana, with the president of Solana and the co-founder of Stellar on an interview with us. I think we're heading in the right tracks here, and it's a good look looking into the end of the year. Now, passing on to the technical analysis side of things, if we study this today, before I get into the VELO chart and some key targets that I have here, I just wanted to start with Bitcoin. So looking at Bitcoin over the last sort of few weeks, we was in this sort of rising channel here where we had these higher highs and higher lows, and we eventually lost that support on the 19th of December. We came back down towards 92k, this green line, which is a key support level, and then wicked back up to the 20 EMA, confirming this channel yesterday, this loss of support as resistance, hitting our heads on the 20, and we're now being pushed down. So I think Bitcoin is potentially on its way back down to 92k to fill this wick in from the day before yesterday, and then also retest its daily 55 EMA, which it actually hasn't had a retest of since back in this period back here on the 10th of October. So it's been over a couple of months where we've been floating on the 20, this yellow line, and we got really overextended, started getting these higher highs, higher lows here. I think there was a bearish divergence in the chart. I'm not going to study it too much, but we lost the support, hit our heads on resistance, and now we're looking for a pullback again to this 92k range. So with that being said, you can see that on the right here, a lot of coins have got blood spilled in the market. VELO's holding up relatively well. a little bit of green here, which is nice to see in the video. We'll get to that in a second, but so I think Bitcoin is looking to this for this 92k retest, or potentially at least a 93k, and is currently sitting at 95. Now, again, not financial advice, but looking at Bitcoin dominance, if we study this chart for a second, now look at the EMAs here, you can see they're sort of dragging up, and we're looking for a cross to form on the daily, but we have seen the dominance level run into a key level of resistance at the 786. Now, I will be honest, in previous videos, I think I have discussed once or twice about Bitcoin dominance in the past from these lows back to this high. At 61%, I thought that we would run up to 57 or 58 at the 0.618 sort of golden ratio, but we didn't. We've actually pushed above and wicked up to the 786 at 59%, and this is the current level of resistance for Bitcoin dominance, and you can see it's started to push back down towards the 0.618 at 58%. So at the moment, I mean, I'm not too sure. It looks relatively strong. It's holding support at the moment. It's just a bit choppy above the sort of 58% range. I think it'll be interesting to see with Bitcoin coming down over the next day or two, if it does, forgive me. Nothing that I say is financial advice, what Bitcoin dominance actually does. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So considering that I think Bitcoin is bearish short term, coming back down to key support potentially, Bitcoin dominance does look a bit toppy, but it's still just a little bit sideways over the past few days. We'll look at total 3, which is altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, the total 3 chart here. And I think what's going on here as well, we've got a low on down here at this fib from this low back in November, and we had a run up to this high on the 7th of December, and this was a really impulsive move here, massive move. But what I think is occurring is from this high retracing back to this low, we're just coming back in an A, B, C potential correction, looking for a continuation or breakout out of here. Now, there is a key level of support where I think the C wave could potentially extend to, and that is potentially back down to this level of support here, where it was in November at 886 billion at the 0382. Now, this could come pretty quickly and coincide with a drop on BTC. If we do see it come to 92k, this could coincide with altcoins over the next couple of days pulling back to a key level of support on the 0382 at 886 billion. So that's one potential scenario here. Now, if we do see a bit more of a pullback on Bitcoin and dominance continues to rise or fall, what we might see here for alts is some sort of rally and then a further drop back down to the 050 at 800 billion on these previous candles here, which is the candles from the sort of candle closes on the 20th of November. Now, again, that doesn't have to happen, and this is a little bit drastic, and it would invalidate a potential ABC. What am I doing? It would invalidate a potential A, B, C pattern, and what this potentially would be is some sort of 1, 2, 3, if we get a 4, and then a final 5th wave before getting the breakout later into January. So December, I think, could be rocky. Some parts of January also. All depends on Bitcoin if it can hold above 92k in this instance, and it all depends on what happens to Bitcoin dominance moving forward, if it continues to push above, or whether we see rejection here and start the downtrend moving into the new year. So it's very sort of up and down all over the place at the moment. Short term, I think I'm relatively bearish for the overall market. And for that reason, I'm going to analyze VELO and look at some key support levels over the next couple of days. Now, if it does obviously go the opposite direction, I will analyze that and it will be fantastic to see. But if not, again, nothing that I say is financial advice, but these dips may offer fruitful opportunity. Now, looking at VELO here, so we have this white trend line of resistance and this white trend line of support, which was our previous 7-month symmetrical triangle that we actually broke out of back here in late November. Now, since the breakout, we've put in a new local high at 0.035, taking out this previous high. Fantastic. But what we've done on the daily time frame here is had a wick from this 0.05 high back down to 0.019. Now, you'll notice that this 0.019, which was a support target I've mentioned in previous videos, was met with a wick and is these previous highs, these previous resistance highs on the triangle resistance and this horizontal resistance here at 0.019 from the 28th of September. So we was at this price in September, we've broken above it, had a retest, and now are sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. So if we can, over the next couple of days, potentially see some, this is an irregular A, B, C, and hold this as support, it could offer fruitful opportunity and is one of my support zones because it is the previous highs of September on the resistance of both horizontal and triangle. So it is quite a strong level of support, and potentially if Bitcoin does come down to 92k, we could see this wick get filled in over the next couple of days before looking for continuation. That's the first level of support. Now, if things do really get choppy here, we do have this triangle resistance we was under. Okay, since we've broken out of it, we haven't back tested it for support. So if we come back to this trend line, is that a possibility? Should I say, is it a possibility to back test this white trend line that we've broken out of, come back for it in quite a large correction, and then get the breakout? I think this would be a bit more of an extensive move if Bitcoin does see a bigger crash, as we do have this one line support above. But again, all these potentials must be covered, and I think that if we do lose 1.9 support, this is the next sort of area I'd be looking at for VELO to come to. Now, there is some sort of confluence here. Very briefly, I think what we've got is this level of support at 0.022. Which is kind of roughly where we're floating around right now. We had support here on the 5th of December, 6th of December, 7th, support on the 9th, the 10th. We've had support yesterday on the 20th. So this sort of area is a key level of support. But what we've done when we've put in this new 3-5 high is put in some sort of double top, where you've got this sort of M top pattern here. And if we do break down, we have a technical target going from the high to support. If we do actually break down of that support level and lose 0.022, the double top breakdown target actually brings you back down to 0.015. And even more confluence with it, again, not saying it has to happen, zooming out, the 0.015 target here, scrolling over to the left, is the previous highs of February, in 2023, which is our Adam and Eve support that was previous resistance. So we've broken out of that as well. If we get the double top breakdown, it would bring us back down to a key level of support. 55 EMA on the weeklies right there as well, and it's the previous high of the February 2023 high of the Adam and Eve pattern. So there's a little bit of confluence there, and at the same time it would be back testing the triangle resistance and then getting the continuation. I think it would scare the crap out of people, I really do, but again, it doesn't have to happen, and we do have 0.019 acting as support right now on the daily time frame. So it's all about holding that. You can see the EMAs are sort of curling down right now, and we're squashed between them. So a decision will come over the next couple of days, and we have to monitor Bitcoin moving forward. I hope you've enjoyed the content, guys. From Chart Nerd TA, take care. Peace out.